I am Mahdieh Hosseini, a Mexican-American Iranian medical student from Maryland. I gotta say, I want to be a scientist. Like the vision in my head that I had was of a mad scientist, like someone that's like making potions, like taking, I don't know, beakers and adding some like flour to it and things of that nature. That like I remember my childhood vision of myself playing with rocks and little like animals or roaches, sorry for the TMI, but roaches that I would find in our house, and I would just like mix and match them, and I would like study them, write about them. And so I think like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a scientist. I actually want to be a physician scientist. I just made a conscious decision to not do a PhD and do an MD, and then use the MD to have a career as both a clinician and as a researcher. I did research like starting freshman year of undergrad, and that kept me in the sciences. Like I was grounded in the sciences. So, but I didn't know whether I wanted to do more as like or just a researcher, get a PhD, or I wanted to do MD, maybe go to nursing school, whatever. And so I was already like roughly in the field of science. And then I guess I'm gonna like give a backstory. So as you know, I'm half Mexican, so my mom is Mexican. But like growing up, my parents prioritized teaching us Farsi, and like I do believe that because we lived in, or like I lived in Iran for 8 years of my life, that portion of my identity was more like loud and more prominent compared like to the Mexican side. And so when I was starting college, obviously like that's your first like chance at adulthood. And I realized like I don't speak decent Spanish. I barely speak Spanish. And I was so mad at my mom. I was like, come on, mom. Like, how am I going to live in America and not know Spanish? And she was like, well, when you were growing up, and like my mom's like really gentle and calm. And so when I talk like this, she actually talks like this. And she was like, we were like thinking more about like, etc. I'm not going to get into that. But long story short, I realized that I want to be more in touch with my Mexican side. So I started taking Spanish classes for like 2-3 years until I felt like really comfortable. And my junior year of undergrad, I studied abroad in Mexico, in Guadalajara. And my mom has a little bit of like family there. I wasn't staying with family, but like it just felt like better to be in a city where there is family. And while I was in Mexico, I was at the same time volunteering in a clinic that was a little bit in the outskirts of Guadalajara. So it was like mostly underserved, uninsured patients that were coming to that clinic. And that's where I knew. It's basically at the end of that summer, I was like, I want to be a doctor, and I know it 100%. And like from that summer on, I was like dead set on it. And like I had a lot of obstacles like my way because I am a first generation medical student, and like different obstacles of different nature from different categories. But like I knew this is what I wanted to do. And I like, people ask me, don't you want to go to like PA school, nursing school? For women it's better. I was like, nope, I want to be a doctor, and I know it. And so like when you know something in your heart like that, you just like sort of very set on pursuing it. I mean, it's kind of like some days some days I'm like, wow, I am so cool. Like I know I sound like really weird, but honestly, some days I feel that way because I remember when I was scribing, this was before medical school. There was a patient who I often would get called in to translate for Spanish. And then one day there was a patient who was a grandmother with dementia, and she was only Farsi speaking only. And so I literally went to the patient room, translated Farsi, and then went to the next patient room and translated Spanish, and then went back to the other room and did scribing. So it was just like being able to wear so many hats means like you can have so much utility to society. And like this is like again and again played itself out in healthcare. And I think for the Latino patients specifically, it's like it's weird but also exciting to see a Latina who finally now can speak Spanish, but also like doesn't exactly look like them, but is like them. Like for them, like the patient visit, whether it's happening in a clinic or it's in an ER or whatever, it's just like this like very exciting experience, like seeing like we call it a paisana, which is like someone that's like from your country, like not literally, they could be from Dominican Republic or wherever, but has different like looks a little bit different, and they usually like ask and like you get into a conversation, and it's been fun.